Zdravo! This is the first in a series of 3 videos devoted to the present tense in the Serbian language. In this series, you will learn how to talk about things that happen right now or every day. Before we start, let me give you some examples of sentences in the present tense. Ona čita knjigu. On ne čita knjigu. On spava. Šta oni gledaju? Oni gledaju film. The verbs čita, spava, and gledaju are all in the present tense in Serbian. In English, we have 2 forms for the present tense, continuous and simple. But in Serbian, one verb form stands for both of these meanings. Slušam muziku svaki dan. Sada slušam muziku. You see how the adverb svaki dan helps us translate slušam in the first sentence as the present simple form, I listen. Whereas slušam in the second sentence can be translated as I am listening because we are using the adverb sada, now. But how did we get to this form slušam in the first place? When we speak in the first person singular, that is, when we use the pronoun I or ja in Serbian, we will always have the verb that ends in m. Well, almost always. There are 3 exceptions to this, but we will talk about them later. So, generally speaking, we always have the ending m or m at the end of the verb in the first person singular. But then, how do we get this spava as a form to which we add this ending? This is a bit of a chicken and egg situation. Spava is what we call present stem, and we get it by taking away the ending for the first person singular in the present tense, that ending m or m. The present stem is used as the base for conjugating verbs in the present tense. So, my advice is when you learn the verbs in Serbian, you should learn their infinitive, neutral form, for example, spavati, to sleep, and also learn their form in the first person singular in present, for example, spavam. So for the verb to sleep, learn spavati, spavam. For the verb to read, learn čitati, čitam, or understand, shvatati, shvatam. To get to know someone, learn upoznati, upoznam. Okay, so now that we know these forms for the verb to sleep, spavati, spavam, we take away the m and we get the stem, spava. Now let's add the endings and conjugate this verb in the present tense. Ja spavam, ti spavaš, on, ona spava. There is no ending for on, ona. Mi spavamo, vi spavate, oni spavaju. You see these highlighted letters in pink here? These are the endings for the present tense. M, sh, then no ending for on, ona, mo, te, ju. The good news is that these endings are almost the same for all Serbian verbs in the present tense. Only the ending for the third person plural will change. And that is why we are covering the present tense in 3 parts. Each part and each video will be devoted to one group of verbs that have a different ending in the third person plural. The group that we are covering in this video has the ending u, y, u, in the third person plural, and the stem that ends in a. And that's why in some grammar books you will hear people calling this group type A or type A conjugation because of this A in the stem, or type 1 conjugation. Okay, now back to those endings. The endings help us because when you speak, you can omit the personal pronouns because the personal pronouns are already kind of implied in the endings. So you can say čitam puno instead of ja čitam puno. Or spava dugo instead of ona spava dugo. Now, I will give you some verbs and we will come up with their forms together. We will do a mini exercise together. I will keep the verb endings here on the screen so you can refer to them as we do this. So let's take the first verb, igrati. How do we say on, ona? So that's the third person singular. Remember, there is no ending, so we just keep the stem. On, ona, igra. Okay? Znati, mi znamo, the ending mo. Pitati. Oni pitaju, the ending ju. Imati, vi imate. And morati, ti, the ending š, ti moraš. Okay, if you're ready to go beyond these videos, then check out our pre-intermediate self-study Serbian course. It's designed to help you practice verbs, sentence structure, and everyday conversations at your own pace. You will get 10 hours of video materials, interactive exercises, PDF materials, clear explanations, and plenty of examples to help you become confident using the present tense and many other grammar topics. Click on the link in the description of this video and start learning with us today. But what if you want to form a negation and say that you do not do or are not doing something? This is very simple in Serbian. Watch this. Ne igram tenis. Ne uživamo u hladnoj klimi. Oni ne planiraju ništa. You see, making negation in Serbian is really easy. You just add the particle ne in front of the verb and make sure to write it separately from the verb. Even Serbian native speakers sometimes make a mistake with this. What about questions? It's also quite simple. You just add dali for yes-no questions or question words at the beginning of a sentence, like this. Dali uživate u kafi? Šta studiraš? Zašto plivate svaki dan? Koliko često se kupaš? You will notice that in this last question, there is a particle se attached to the verb kupaš. These are reflexive verbs. Reflexive verbs show that the action goes back to the person who is doing it. So in our example, kupati se, to take a bath, is something that we do ourselves, on ourselves, so to say. So the particle se never changes and you just stick to the same conjugation pattern that we learned in this video. Ja se kupam svaki dan, or you can say kupam se svaki dan. Here are some more examples with reflexive verbs. Ona se igra sa drugarima. Prodavnica se zatvara u 8 uveče. Oni se šetaju u šumi. So, let's sum up 3 most important things to remember from this video on the present tense. First, always learn the verbs by memorizing 2 of their forms. Infinitive form, for example, spavati, čitate, and first person singular form in the present tense, spavam, čitam. Remember, we get the stem by removing the ending m from spavam or čitam. Then we use the stem as the basis for conjugation of the verbs in the present tense. Next thing to remember is to memorize the endings that we covered in this video, such as m, sh, then no ending for on, ona, ono, mo, te. These endings will be the same for the other two verb groups that we will cover in the next videos. As you remember, only the ending for oni, one, ona, that is the third person plural, will change across different verb groups. And lastly, we covered that we form negation in the present tense by adding ne in front of the verbs, and questions by adding da li or question words at the beginning of each question. And that is all. You are now equipped with the knowledge to let us know what you are up to these days. Use the verbs from this video or some other verbs that you know in the present tense and share with us what you're up to these days or right now. Write that in the comments below this video. Ćao i vidimo se u sljedećem videu. Pozdrav!